Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for the 25th SF Indie Fest. The festival is running from February 2nd to 12th, both at the Roxy Theater in San Francisco, as well as digitally online in your computer screens in your home. So thank you so much to our audience who joined us for our program today, and thank you to our filmmakers for sharing their films and coming on here to chat with us about them. My name is Sarah Flores. I'm the shorts programmer for the festival. Cool. Let's kick it off. Hey, Zhang Yang, thank you so much for joining us. Could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your film and how you kind of found this story?
Hi, my name is Zhong Yang. I'm director and editor of the short documentary called Dance Mom. And the reason I got into this, the reason I made this project is because I'm a FA student at Chapman Universities. And we are joining a program called Community Voice each year, which is doing social justice film. And one of the teammates, she born and raised in Fresno, California, and she told me in her high school they not only Spanish or English, they also offer Hmong as a second language for them to learn. I was amazed by that because also Hmong is one of the ethnic group also in China. I was amazed, oh, why America also have these ethnic groups? And I did my research and I found out they're political refugees, and they're originally in Laos, and during the Vietnam War, the CIA just found them, and they basically found them a regime. And after the Vietnam War, they couldn't leave in Laos. They gradually moved to United States. So that's the reason I think, oh, this history is so fascinating and hasn't been captured yet. And that's the reason I trying to make this film.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hi, Alex. Thank you for joining us.
Hello. Yeah, thanks for having me. My name is Alex Coppola. My film is Belongings. The film was produced actually as part of a literary arts festival, sort of benefit thing for a writing program in Portland, Maine, where I'm from. It's a program called The Telling Room. And they were the ones that actually introduced me to Morgan Talty, who is the writer and subject of the film. He is a professional writer. He just finished a collection of shorts, which is out now. It's called Night of the Living Rez. It's on Tin House Books. It's doing great. I think Morgan was just nominated for a PEN American Award. So good for him. He had, he's been writing for years, and his main medium is shorts, and he had been interested in trying to turn one of those into a short film, I think, for a while. And when we met up to kind of kick around ideas, he had a story that was not in the book, but sort of an essay that he had been working on. And I loved the sound of it and took it from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Xinyan, can you talk about kind of the way that you and your team approached your subjects in Fresno? Like how did you become acquainted with them? What was your process with working with them and documenting their story?
Yeah, we're originally trying to find a third and second generation of Hmong Americans, and we're trying to approach the story through their point of view. Essentially, is how they keep their own Hmong identity at the same time, but also born in the United States. What's the meaning for them to be Hmong Americans? And we're originally trying to find some teenager girls. But due to they're still in high school, they're under 18 years old, to give us a lot of difficulties to reach out to them. And at the meantime, we also, through Facebook, we found a lot of Hmong dance group. and they're promoting themselves and to participate through the Hmong New Year festivals. So we reach out several of them, and happily, luckily, our subjects, Rocky and he just happy to let us to film them, and we just document, and through that, and we document the whole journey and how they prepare for the New Year film festivals, and how they practice, and eventually the results of the festivals.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Alex, can you talk to us about your relationship with Morgan? Like what was your creative process like in bringing this to the screen?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of like I mentioned before, we kind of got set up like blind date style. I mean, to be fair, actually, I'd read some of his work and loved his voice, and expressed that I was really interested in trying to work on something with him. And we essentially took this essay that he had written, or a few of them, and just kind of, worked them back and forth over the phone for like a few months. He had never been on camera really, or worked on a film, which I thought was fine. I just, he's such a strong writer, and also I found incredibly generous with his work, and very open to my suggestions of how we might need to change things or work things around to make it work on film. He was all about that, and he's such a fast writer that once I actually went up to meet him, we shot this in like a weekend. I think it was 2 days. He's very busy, and we live about 2.5 hours from each other, so we didn't have a ton of time. But thankfully, he's such a ridiculously good writer that when I would ask him I was like, can you change this? Or do you think we can find something else here? He would, walk in the other room for like 10 minutes and come back with something new. So that makes it obviously very easy as a filmmaker when you have someone who's a great writer that you're working with. So, yeah.
Awesome. Just kick it back to you. Can you talk a little bit about like your visual approach? I feel like you get like almost like a paranormal ghost hunter vibe in like parts of it, and then like things that like felt more like grounded and like kind of more like verite. Like, was there a method to that madness?
Yeah, sort of. It's probably more that's all we really had. What I loved about Morgan's story was, the first time I read it, I didn't know how much of it he actually believed. I was like, does this guy actually believe in ghosts? Does he think that this really happened? And the more we talked it out, it was like, it doesn't matter. His mother was spiritual. He's also spiritual. We all are in different ways. And it became more about that. So it was, I think the fun was kind of looking at, all right, well, how do we walk the line between, what's real and what isn't? And like, how far can we push the kind of ridiculous stuff? And yeah, he was all about it. So, and again, it's that thing where we had basically 2 days to do this. We had hit this house, which has a couple rooms. And it's like, well, how do you make this thing work? And, necessity, and, that breeds interesting or weird stuff sometimes. So that was helpful.
Awesome. Well, I love it. It's very playful in its way. Like, and when you talk about like documentary form and kind of figuring out that balance, I think that is really successful. So cool. Song Ying, what was your production landscape like? You all were working on this also as a school project, and you're based in Los Angeles. So how often were you all going up to Fresno? Like, what was that experience like?
Yeah, in order to film the preparations, every time we're trying to film, we have to drive 7 hours for Los Angeles. Our school is in Orange County, so it's take even a little bit further. Take 7 hours drove there, and we drove to Fresno, I think, for the total of the whole production 6-7 times. And but our majority of the story happened during it happened at the New Year's, so we spent 5 or 6 days over there just trying to focus on and just that specific process. So, and it's a little bit fun. I mean, it's the drive is like a little bit long, but on the way we just keep talking about it with my teammates and how to make this story better. So it's a good, nice brainstorming road trip.
Awesome. Yes, that is a common road trip for me as well when I go back up to Northern California to see everybody, which I'm glad to say I'm going to get to go do for the festival. So I'm looking forward to that. Well, that's all the time that we have today. Thank you both so much for joining us and for sharing your films with our audience. And thank you to our audience for showing up and sharing this art, and watch everything and enjoy the festival. Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.